I want to tell you about the moment my relationship with money completely changed. And I come from a financial background, so this was a surprise. And it wasn't a seminar, it wasn't a book. It was an actual moment where I realized that the way that I had been managing my money and my finances, the way that I had actually been taught, well, it wasn't really working anymore. I asked God to show me something different, and He did. And I'm here to talk to you about it. Hi, I'm Britt. So, welcome back. My sisters, if you're new here, I'm so glad you found my channel because this is a space where we talk about real stuff. We talk about faith. We talk about how you're doing. We talk about tips for a better life, getting richer, looking younger, all the stuff that Christians are told to feel guilty about, and our finances too. So today I'm sharing something that's kind of personal, right? Something that genuinely changed my life. And that something is cryptocurrency. That's one of many things, but that's what we're talking about today. I know, stay with me, because a year or two ago, I would have actually scrolled right past a video like this. And I'm so glad that somebody got my attention. And today, I want to get yours. So a few years ago, I was doing everything right, the way I'd been taught, to put everything in a savings account or a CD, modest investments, and living within my means, although I didn't always do so great with that. But I kept feeling that, like, no matter how disciplined I was, how many coffees I cut out, how much Dave Ramsey I did, that I still wasn't getting anywhere, that things were just kind of stagnant. I started having conversations with people that I really trusted. In fact, I had the privilege of having a few conversations with a couple billionaires 2 weeks ago in Puerto Rico. And I shared some of my research, my thinking, and here's what I was told and things that I learned, right? And that's when I was actually introduced to Bitcoin as more of a safety asset, right? Because I had already had a little bit of it. But eventually, I started to learn really what we're dealing with. The whole world is moving digital, whether we like it or not. So I figured might as well get on board, right? The horse and buggy way I've been living with money. We're in a car. In fact, some places actually have little flying backpacks that fly you around, you know, like you see in all those little sports videos that someday we'd have. This stuff is actually real now. Well, Elon Musk even said 75% of the workforce is most likely going to be taken over by AI within 3 years. Catch it, three years. That's amazing. And even if it's only halfway true, that's going to affect millions of people like you and me. So I didn't just dive in. This is not my personality to just dive in everything at one moment, at least not most of the time. And honestly, it probably shouldn't be yours either. Proverbs 4:7 says, wisdom is a principle, right? Therefore get wisdom. And I got wisdom first before I started making trades. And let me make it clear, I am not your financial advisor. I studied for months, I prayed over it, and then step by step, I started. And what happened next genuinely surprised me. I watched my assets grow in ways that my savings account never came close to, right? I started to feel financially empowered for the first time in a way that I hadn't in years. And cryptocurrency didn't just change my portfolio. It actually changed how I think about money and risk and reward. Now I have to pause here because I know some of you are wondering, is this even okay as a Proverbs 31 woman to be listening to this about Bitcoin, which is, some people say, so risky? Isn't it too worldly? And I want to address that really quickly up front here, honestly. The Bible doesn't call us to be passive with what God gives us. In fact, the parable of the talents is a perfect Matthew 25 example. It's a clear reminder that God really expects us to be active stewards, not to bury stuff or put it on a back burner of what He's given us out of fear. So crypto for me became an act of stewardship, of obedience, a way to actually take what God was blessing me with and make it work harder. I started with $100, right? Not out of greed, but out of responsibility. And when I make more, I can give more. And I know a lot of people talk about that. When you implement that, a minimum of 10% of what comes your way to tithe, just watch God work. You can't outgive God. And I know we've all heard that in sermons. Try it. Watch Him work. And when I approached it that way with prayer and patience and wisdom, God honored it for me. And He'll honor it for you. So what actually changed in my life? Well, let me be real with you. I have more financial confidence now than I ever had. And I understand how money actually works in ways that I learned not in school, but from real life. And I've diversified beyond, quote, the traditional bank account on the S&P. And I've been part of a growing class of individuals that have opened doors that I didn't even know existed. And now, and I say this with love, I'm not a financial advisor. So please do your own research. This is my personal journey, not a prescription for yours. But I will say, don't let fear or unfamiliarity keep you from learning about this. Knowledge is never wasted. Your research will be honored. And God can use anything, right? Even technology to bless his people. And that's you, sister. So you're not too old for this. And you're not too late for this. Only 6% or less of the entire world right now is invested in cryptocurrency. You're at the ground floor. You're not too late, right? You're not behind. It's like getting Amazon before anybody knew what Amazon was, getting that stock, right? And you have wisdom that younger women are still trying to develop, right? So let me tell you, all of that is an asset when it comes to making smart financial decisions. Don't count yourself out at this point. And if this is stirring something in you, it might just be a way of saying, wow, maybe the Holy Spirit wants me to pay attention. So start with your research. There's so much out there. Other YouTube videos like this where advisors actually go into the details, right, of the blockchain. There are podcasts, etc. Just do some research there. Start there and then pray over it. Take your time with it and pray over it again. And if you want to go even deeper, there are things I simply cannot share here on YouTube that are revealed in my community. More detailed conversations about faith and finances. And I even have a billionaire coming on twice a month to give you actual trades. Not all the education that the online newsletter guys give you up the wazoo. I was going to say, can I say that on YouTube? I think so. Anyway, but actual trades to make, right? So that's why I have an exclusive community just for women like you. And if you want access, just click the link below. You can actually join it first for free. This isn't all designed out, obviously. I'm freewheeling it with you. And one thing I want you to know is I always keep it real here. This is authentic. I even have a billionaire going into our online community with live Q&A with him twice a month, right? That's amazing. So the VIP upgrade is a bargain. So I would love to have you in there with us, right? And if this blessed you in some way, give it a thumbs up, DM me, talk to me, join us in our school community, or even better, share it with a friend or a loved one or a family member who might need to hear it. And please subscribe so you never miss what we're talking about next, because there's a lot of good stuff to come. I have some raw personal information that I thought I would never share. And I've decided it'll probably bless people. So that's coming up. And always remember, God's got you, right? In every area of your life when you lean on him, including this one. So I'll see you inside of our exclusive community. And in case no one told you today, just remember, you are beloved.